Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast.
Hey everybody, cruising with Bella with Rob, and guess who? Bella. I hope what we're going to work on now helps. If it needs to be, if it doesn't, that's fine too. There's Bella. She doesn't care where we are or what we're doing as long as we're together. So let's get on with this. Guess we're ready to work. So what we did is we had the infamous ammonia smell in the refrigerator. It literally, we walked through the door and it had in the freezer here the smell. It was terrible. Everybody knows that smell and what these refrigerators are capable of doing. We didn't know what to do at the time, so we shut it off and took it outside. I had to remove the cooling unit. I took the cooling unit out, put it outside because it stunk so bad. We went and got online and I ordered the JC Refrigeration 120 volt unit. I did that before I put it in the other motorhome because I had the same issue. They work. They may turn your RV refrigerator box into a more modern home appliance, if you will. I went 120 volts because that's all I needed. I didn't need the propane anymore. I didn't want the headache with it. You could run it off the battery system that I put in, the Vader battery and the solar, the generator if need be. Doesn't draw hardly any amperage. But for the most part, it was a pretty straightforward removal. Had to take the refrigerator out, and as you can see in my space, let me turn the camera around. Very small between there and there, real tight. So I had to undo the bolts around it, or screws around it. Had to go outside, undo everything, unhook the power. Slide that unit out, as you can see. Set it on a floor jack after putting down cardboard, lower it down, roll it out into your open area, and you have to lay it face down. People ask, well, why didn't you just change over to a residential refrigerator? Good question. I would have, but as you can see, you may have the same problem. From the top of the refrigerator to the bottom of the refrigerator, to find one to fit in there, and the width, so you didn't have big ugly filler panels down the side, was virtually impossible. Not to mention, once you got one, how do you get it in? Through the window? Through the door? Boy, that would be a chore. So I also have my furnaces underneath. By going with the JC Refrigeration and 120 volt, I eliminated that whole need, the leveling of your unit everywhere you go, having to worry about it all the time. It just works as a residential refrigerator. Cools down faster, you don't have to worry about it getting warm, all the issues that come along with it. Not to mention Norcold filed for bankruptcy in 2025 due to fires. So it was a no-brainer for me. I called them up. They're really good people at JC Refrigeration. They will have you come down to their place. They'll install it for you there. And as a full disclaimer, I'm not being paid by them. I'm getting nothing. I don't want anything. I just want to let people know what I did. So then once the unit's out and you're ready to go, you just take it apart. So what are we doing? As you can tell, she has to be right next to me. Oh yeah, that's okay. I like her right next to me. Right? So can I get back to work? So then once So then once the unit was out, I painted the floor underneath with a Kills primer waterproofing. That way if any water was to leak underneath through the condensate stuff, your wood won't get rotten. So now we'll go look at the old units that we pulled out. Right? Let's go. She's excited to show everybody the old units. This is the old unit out of my old motorhome. This is an ammonia absorption. Right down here is where it started leaking. You'll start seeing a green, yellowish hue, and then you'll really smell the ammonia. That's when it's time to replace it. Here we are back inside. This is the inside of the freezer. On my unit, which is a Norcold NDR 1292, this is the freezer unit. This white comes off. There's a bracket that comes through, and that has the cooling tube on it. You have to use mastic. They send a tube of mastic with you, which slides down through the back of the refrigerator. It's really a pain in the butt because if you put it on and then slide the unit in, especially by yourself like I did, it seems to want to wipe off. So personally, if you have this style of refrigerator, put the unit on, then put the mastic on after you've slid the unit onto the back of the refrigerator. As for the refrigerator side, these cooling fins then are taken off. Mastic is put on the back of it after the new unit's put on. You reinstall them with new screws. And as you can see here, the mastic is poking through. It's oozing through. This is the control board that comes with it. Motion sensing LED light. It just clips on. There's just alligator clips on the back side of that. All the controls then are completely deleted. There literally is nothing on the back side of the refrigerator once you remove the old cooling unit. It's just a box. The new cooling unit sits on. You'll use an expandable spray foam to go around the back side of it. You go around the back side of it with an expandable foam that they send you, and then you use this silver tape. They send you a tiny little roll of it. If you're gonna do this, I would say go to the hardware store and get a big roll. It's very handy when it comes to doing your duct work and the ceiling and stuff. And really put the foam in like they say and tape the back side of it up. Seal it up real good. So now on to how you get this unit. It shows up in a big crate. Bigger than her. A lot bigger than her. Not by much. But it shows up in a crate via truck freight. If you're a residential address, they charge you more for that. So be prepared. If you have it at your house and you have to move it anywhere, just be prepared for that move. Then you uncrate it and you have to let it stand for 24 hours, it says in their instructions. I did. I stood it up inside the RV. So I had to carry it up the stairs, tripping over her. She didn't help, just so you know. Carry it up the stairs, and then I just stood it up against the counter there for 24 hours while I had the refrigerator box out on the ground over here with all kinds of blankets down, vacuuming. I will tell you that the mastic that comes off the back of this stuff, the old stuff, is like caulk, clay. It's messy. So if you're gonna do it inside, make sure you put everything down. Cover your floors as best you can. Now we'll look at the back of the unit. This is the unit that they warrantied out. I had to tear it up pretty good. Once it's sealed in that box, it does not want to come out. This is the cooling unit as it was. Those are the fittings that you have to add the Freon to, which if I knew better, probably was the issue with the original one, but it wasn't. This was probably still good if we would have just added Freon, but they chose that that wasn't the avenue to take, that it had to be something else. This is the back of the unit. This is the back of the unit. This dimension right here that goes between your refrigerator and that is very important. If you push it too close, you'll have to cut your fins, and I'll show you that in a minute. So as the unit comes in, all this wiring you have to do. This is the freezer side, the bigger unit, obviously. You can see the cooling. I've added this foam to this side to help cool it down. I went up higher to see if I could get the heat transfer a little bit better. I can't tell you if it works or it doesn't. What I can say is I did it. Dutch Air, which is JC Refrigeration, they were great. I have no complaints about it. They stood behind their product. It just took a little bit of work to figure out what was wrong. And through the logic of deduction, I figured it was Freon. Owner mentioned it a while back, so I went with that route. So I went and got 134A from Napa. Ordered a simple Freon self-sealing gauge and hose off Amazon, and a digital scale, and added a little bit at a time until the compressor changed. This is the grating that goes on the refrigerator cover, obviously. The back had to be notched for the cooling unit, which you probably would have to do. And as you can see, it clears the cooling unit. She's got to be right at my feet. Wouldn't have it any other way. So you can imagine trying to put in a refrigerator, what this is like. It's fun. I don't mind it. Wouldn't have it any other way. So this is where the end comes in. I didn't video the replacement or the install of either one of them because I didn't have YouTube back then. I wasn't ready for it, I guess. Doing this has been very hard. Hard to put yourself out there. But if we can help people, her and I, yep, see, she's watching. So you think it's hard to make YouTube videos? Have this watch you the whole time. But we literally decided to start this because these are the situations you run into that nobody tells you about. So we ordered the first unit. It came in and it was installed, and I called Dutch Air multiple times, JC Refrigeration, Amish cooling units, whatever you want to call them. I don't understand the Amish cooling thing, no electricity. Let's not get off track. It would cool down as soon as I put it in. It went down to 36 degrees. And as soon as I left for the night and came back to the RV, I came in the morning to 55 degrees. Compressor running, very hot to the touch. Several phone calls to JC Refrigeration. Several phone calls to JC Refrigeration. They prefer texting. Multiple phone calls, multiple texts. We tried a bunch of things, including unplugging the thermistor in the refrigerator. Let it run all night. Went down to 27 degrees. The next morning when I came in, it was 27. They assured me that there was nothing wrong. From there, I went home, came back in after hooking all the wiring back up, and it was back up to 57 degrees. I did the door seals. I did the Vaseline around the door seals just to make sure they were sealing and conditioned correctly. This is a 2004 Mandalay. I have brand new door seals for it. That wasn't the issue. So after several attempts, they gave a RMA number and sent me a brand new unit. Came within 3 days. They told me to scrap the other unit. That's the one in the video. So I put the new unit in, which meant taking that back out again onto the floor, going through the whole process a second time. Got it all back together, made sure everything was sealed, everything was exactly the way it was, reinstalled it, and it did the same thing. Would cool down initially, but never would stay cold. Just temperature kept creeping up. I added two internal thermostats so I could see the displays plus the one inside. Every time I opened the door, it wouldn't recover. So from there, I decided that I needed to call them again. After numerous attempts, and I believed I talked to the owner, he mentioned that it might be low on Freon. Understandable. 2 units doing exactly the same thing. Through the logic of deduction, I realized that what do we have to hurt? When I called back after a few more tests that another tech had me do, it wasn't working. So I took it upon myself to go to Napa. I ordered R134A hose, gauge, and fittings off Amazon, and a digital scale. And from there, I proceeded to add ounces of Freon a little bit at a time till the compressor tone changed and it started to cool down the compressor, and it did it. Now the refrigerator stays at a constant 38 degrees no matter what I do, whenever I do it. So the first unit was probably low on Freon. It was probably a manufacturing oversight on their part, testing, whatever. Not to mention they sent outdated instructions. There was a new revision to the wiring that they sent me new ones so I could double check it. So I'm assuming at this point that it was an older unit and it slipped through quality control. With that being said, the greater question is, would I buy another JC Refrigeration unit or recommend them? Absolutely, 100%. I believe it's the best option for any RVer who has the ammonia refrigeration, anything from Dometic or Norcold, and they have to upgrade. I'm 100% on board with JC Refrigeration. They did everything. Their warranty was amazing. They sent the new unit out like they said they would. Truck freight free, showed up at my shop. No problems whatsoever. When I asked if I wanted them to return the other unit to them, they told me to scrap it. So I took all the components off it, the controls, any kind of wiring, anything that I could save, put in a tote so I had it in case this one went bad. Is it a do-it-yourself project? Absolutely. Just takes patience. Be nice to have a second person. If it's in a slide, it's very easy. Follow the instructions to the letter, and it's a great unit. Would I change anything about it? No. The power consumption on it is so low that the Vader battery that I have now, the LiPo 4, the poly, doesn't even affect it.